Richard Southern from 680 News joins us for business. And let's start with these blockades, Richard. There are concerns they're going to have an economic impact.
I think they almost certainly will, probably most with the transportation of oil out of Calgary when we saw the big shutdowns for the CN rail in the West Coast. And, of course, there's the job market, Cynthia, with Via Rail and CN temporarily laying off employees. You can be sure we're going to see the economic effects show up in the numbers when they come out in the coming months.
Absolutely.
We saw big sell-off, meantime, on Wall Street today, Cynthia. It certainly, of course, had nothing to do with the blockades. Had everything to do, though, with the coronavirus.
Another hit, right, after yesterday's massive sell-off.
Dow was down 1,000 points yesterday, Cynthia. Down another 879 today. About 1,900 points knocked off the Dow in 2 days. That's the biggest two-day sell-off in history. TSX down 385. You know what happens? In the U.S. Centers for Disease Control came out and said it's not a question of if, but when we're going to see a pandemic condition with the coronavirus.
That puts a lot of fear into people.
Sure does. I mean, these markets have been overheated, so investors, they ran for the exit on those comments. We talked to Andrew Powell with Scotia McLeod about what the average old investor should do here. Should they flee to the bond market? We asked Mr. McLeod.
Even the bond market has risk at this point. I think it really comes down to where were investors positioned coming into the onslaught of these new revelations around the virus. If people were underweight equities, if they'd already pulled back in anticipation, this might present a great buying opportunity. But I think you're going to have a lot of investors that have been chasing this market for a while, saw those record highs last week, and unfortunately probably kept buying. Those are the people now that really have to look at this situation a lot more seriously.
Tough to know what to do, Cynthia, because who knows what's going to happen with this virus.
And it's interesting, Richard, the coronavirus is also being blamed for another drop in mortgage rates, of all things.
Yeah, but this, of course, a good thing. So that's kind of that unusual knock-on effect from the virus is that we're seeing mortgage rates in Canada fall. It's because investors who have been selling those stocks have been running to the safety of the bond market. Bond yields are down, and those bond yields determine mortgage rates. The lowest available 5-year fix now in Canada down to 2.33%. It is just the fixed rates that are affected by these bond market moves.
Hey, Richard, this is quite the house you're showing, by the way.
Is this your house?
How many millions is this worth?
You're going to need a favorable mortgage rate for that one.
But no kidding.
That's what we're starting to see. So, if the rates keep falling, who knows? We could all have a nice plush home like that.
Yeah, right. Not in my world. I don't think so. All right, on another note, move over Elvis Presley. There's a new king of the Billboard charts, and he's Canadian.
Yeah, it's Stratford's very own Justin Bieber, Cynthia. Now the youngest solo artist to release 7 consecutive #1 albums, breaking a 60-year-old record held by Mr. Elvis Presley. The 25-year-old Bieber out with his new album called Changes, selling 231,000 copies in the first week with 1 million downloads. Not without controversy, though. Back in January, Bieber directed his fans to push the first single from the album up in the charts. In a since-removed Instagram post, Bieber asked followers to put the song on repeat on Spotify and even to let it play while they slept.
Oh, that's sneaky.
Not very nice, Mr. Bieber, but there you go, taking over from Elvis Presley, believe it or not.
You wouldn't think he would have to. He's so big, right? Worldwide?
It's been quite the ascent to stardom for Mr. Bieber.
Yes, it has. All right, and before we go, you have a quick look at gas prices.
And this is big because oil is down amid the coronavirus concerns. So the price of gas is set to drop 2 cents tonight. And the trend calls for another 3-cent drop on top of that on Thursday. So hold off on your fill-up if you can. We're back just after 6:30. Cynthia looking at some fun stories, including it's Pancake Tuesday, and we're checking with a chef about how to best cook up some pancakes.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Richard.
Thanks.